Assalamualaikum everyone, it's some brain Pervez here and welcome to my NLP live show. Those of you who are new to me, I am an NLP trainer and growth mindset coach, and I work with professional women across the globe and I help them to remove any guilt or fear which is holding them back, and I help them to get the clarity and confidence they need in their life to live the life of their dream. In today's episode, and I'm so excited because I'm going to interview one of my favorite NLP trainer from Pakistan. He is the one and only well-recognized person among the Pakistani national TVs, Dr. Moiz Hussain. I would say he is the face of NLP in Pakistan, and he has conducted over 500 workshops. Not only in Pakistan, he has also been in UK, America, and Middle Eastern countries. And he is also the founder of the Institute of Mind Sciences. And today, I'm just so excited that you guys are going to be a part of this fantastic episode, which is my first episode of NLP Live Show. So let us welcome Dr. Moiz Hussain. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much.
So can you tell me about your journey? How did it get started?
My journey dates back to the time when I was 16 years old. I'm 62 now. And my first encounter was with an enlightened person. His name was Yogendraji, Shri Yogendraji in India, where I lived with him, stayed with him, and I learned the classical yoga and Raj Yoga. This was my base. When you understand Raj Yoga, you understand a lot of things, how your mind works, what is the connection of your body with your soul, why are you here on this planet, what is your connection with each and everything that is around you. This my journey started then. I continued my education. At the same time, I started teaching yoga way back in 1974 in Pakistan. It was just for fun. And in 1980, I started teaching yoga and meditation professionally. In 86, I established the Institute of Mind Sciences. I felt that yoga definitely is very beneficial. However, the process is very slow. People do not have time now to spend years and years with some guru and then get the desired result that they want. So I then traveled extensively in the European and the American continent. And from there, I learned technology by which you can reprogram the human mind. Because the brain is just like a computer, it's a biocomputer. Whatever software that you install, the brain will work accordingly. Right? From the childhood, different softwares have been installed, like our beliefs, our values, experiences in life, good and bad. So we function in a certain way. Or I can say that we sort of are in a matrix, not realizing that we really have very little choice at this present moment in time, because we do not understand what motivates us, what inspires us, why we fear, what we fear. So based on these instincts that are controlled by our brain and the softwares that are in the brain, what we call the programs in NLP, we function in a certain way. Now, when in life you feel that there is something much more that you need to achieve, or that you are limited in some way, or you feel incapacitated, that's where you start exploring what the human mind is all about. So then I studied NLP, design human engineering, hypnosis, Silva method, Reiki, EFT. I don't know how many things I learned. And I became a trainer of all of them. And then I started professionally teaching in 1986. And since then, it has been no looking back. We have trained about 150,000 people in Pakistan, as well as in Middle East, Europe, USA, Africa, many places. And now my daughter is with me. My sons are in US. They have their own business. My daughter is with me, Uruj, and she got married. So yet she comes and, few months she's with me, few months she's with her. Now, when we talk of NLP, this is one of the most intriguing subjects that people need to understand. What is it and how it works? Yeah. Everybody knows what NLP stands for, right? Neuro-linguistic programming. What it actually means is, I can give you a small example through which people can understand. Every moment, we receive 5 forms of stimulus from the external world. Our eyes see, our ear hears, we taste, we touch, and we smell. Now, most of this stimulus is not within our control. Similarly, situations in life, challenges in life, problems in life, they are also stimulus to us. So every stimulus causes a certain response, which is automatic. And this response is based on our conditioning. In NLP, we learn that between stimulus and response, there is a time period which we call choice. There's always a choice of how you respond. So once you understand how do I respond correctly, that means the stimulus does not harm you, does not affect you in a bad way. In fact, the stimulus can help you to understand and win a situation that you wish to win. So NLP is all about understanding how your brain works, understanding the different programs and mindset and the perception filters that you have acquired over a period of time, and you learn to change them. And it is possible that at any age, you can change the way you see, the way you think, the way you hear, the way you smell, the way you taste, and the way you feel. We can all do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think with NLP, it's just so interesting because when I did my NLP training, I think it's the first time in my life I realized why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we as human are ashraf al-makhluk, because our brain is so powerful. And nowadays, when I look at our community, I feel that it's a sleeping ummah. We are not using our brains. Even if you look at the soap operas, the dramas, they're feeding something to your unconscious mind. So how did you started this revolution in Pakistan or across the globe?
It was a very difficult, and a challenging task, especially in Pakistan. You see, when we talk about this subcontinent of Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and even places like Iran and Iraq and all these, we live with a strong conviction of faith, F-A-T, faith. Now, faith needs to be understood. Even today, every Thursday, I give a lecture which is live on Facebook at 7:30 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. And people come with questions. There are questions from internet, from WhatsApp. And I answer 4 to 5 questions every Thursday. And this is open for anybody who can join on Facebook. One of the questions that I still get, even today, I think I have a question about whether sorrows and happiness is given by God or it is our own doing. So the problem is we need to understand the concept of FAT, fate. If everything was destined, then we would not have the power to act and the power to think. God did not give us a fate in a way that we will do only what He wants us to do. Because if that was true, then if I kill someone, then I should not be punished. Why? Because it's God who wanted me to do that. So my free will, the concept of free will is gone. So fate needs to be understood in the context that there are certain universal laws. And within these laws, if I make a right action, I get the right reaction. If I make the wrong action, I get the wrong reaction. God is not to be blamed for this. If I have misery in my life, it's because of me, the way I think, the way I act. So this is the problem.
Yeah, I think it's easier to stay in, in NLP, we have this cause and effect side. So most of the people, they like to stay in the affected side because it's easier to blame others rather than take the responsibility and be at the cause side. So how do you help your clients to, the way you're telling that you get lots of questions on Facebook and your WhatsApp, how do you help clients to move from affected side to the cause side?
Depending upon, first, when we have, I do workshops and seminars only because I don't have time to see one-to-one clients. I have a team who has been trained and they are here at the institute, which is, the headquarters are in Karachi, we have an office in Lahore, often in Islamabad. So patients come to us, initially I take a 10 minutes interview. That's it, not more than 10 minutes. Within the 10 minutes, I sort of analyze the personality of the person. And then I refer them to one of my therapists. So the first thing that we need to understand is people have their own story to tell you. Don't listen to the stories, because in the stories, they have their own perceptions about right and wrong, of how things went bad. So I only ask 2 questions. Number one simple sentence: what is the problem?
Yeah.
How do you know you have a problem?
Yeah.
The second question is, what do you want? And when you get it, how will you know you got it? So a lot of people seem to get confused. And I explain to them, and in 10 minutes, if they come out with the right answer, I know what is the issue and how can we help them and solve them. See, one of the greatest challenges of modern time that I think you should need to tell your people also, don't focus on problems. We keep on focusing on our problem. Now, the principle of mind is that whatever you focus on increases, it
Yeah.
enhances, because you're giving your energy to that, right?
Yeah.
Instead of problems, focus on the solution. What can I do? How can I get out of it? The more you focus on your solution, the more the solution becomes strongly available to you. And this is something that I think we all need to understand in these times when stress and tensions are sort of, a byproduct of modernization, or the pace of life that we are experiencing. So we need to understand that we focus on how do I get out of it?
Yeah.
What should I do to get out of it? Instead of why am I stuck here? What is my fault? Why is it happening to me?
Yeah.
Why am I at the other end?
Yeah.
So this is what we need to do.
Yeah, I think it's also like why it's happening to me. Like when you are in the why, you are in the blame game, and it's easier to be
Yeah.
there, as I said earlier. And I think something which is feeding up, like to this thought is also unconsciously what we are taking from our environment. If the environment is very victimized, then it's easier to play the blame game all the time. And
Yeah.
especially I love to watch some dramas, and when I see the dramas, I'm just like just because it's a one-way communication, whatever you're taking, it's going straight to your unconscious mind, and when if you're used to watch telly since your childhood, then God knows what you're taking to your unconscious mind. What I've done recently is like for 12 years I don't have any telly. I haven't watched any telly for 12 years because I feel like you get influenced by this, whatever, like the negativity of news, the negative story which is going on and on again and again in our communities. And yeah, that's fantastic what you do. And another question I wanted,
Yeah. Please go ahead.
yeah, another question I wanted to ask is that because as a coach, it's not like when you talk to your clients, how do you, because sometimes people say, okay, coaches, they don't need the NLP techniques. While my belief is that the NLP, it really helps you to see the situation from a different point of view. And it's sometimes like it's easy, because I would say NLP is like a magic, even though, it's a magic because it works. You work with the client on the unconscious level. And I know that you are also a trainer of hypnotherapy. So, so how do you use hypnotherapy, or how do you combine these two together?
NLP is basically an extension of hypnotherapy, because a lot of modules of training in hypnotherapy, especially the language patterns, have been derived from Milton Erickson's, right? So Dr. Milton Erickson was one of the person who would use language and words and linguistics to influence the change just by talking to people. So NLP is all about that. Later, a lot of things came into NLP, which basically were not part of NLP. A lot of techniques were there. But NLP is basically understanding when people talk to you, they are telling you what they are. And if you can understand the language that they're using, the body language, the signs, the eye accessing cues, the representation system, the modalities that they're using in the language, you understand a lot about people. So hypnotherapy is when the problem is deeply rooted. For example, there is no substitute in any psychotherapy or any technology so far of age regression. Hypnosis is age regression. And sometimes when we do NLP and we find that, okay, a problem has been resolved, but somehow there is something still left. So then the person is taken to age regression. He's regressed to a earlier childhood time when he relives the trauma, and then the problem will get solved. There's something that I think you should tell your clients and your people, that we are influenced by the environment that we live in. Our environment affects us, the weather and the environment, both of them. So most of us who live in a very close-minded society, we tend to have a lot of in our heart, unable to take it out. And this is where NLP can help. A lot of strict rules which should not have been there, because strict rules are made by certain people in the society who believe that this is right and this is wrong. Now, there is no right and wrong. Depends upon where you live, your circumstances, your mental age, your personality, your education. They all count when you create certain laws. I'm amazed. I can give you an example of how things were. For example, um, the Scandinavian countries, years back, they were pirates. They used to attack the coastline of England, and they were very cruel people, savages, in fact. But what a transformation has occurred now. Look at Denmark, look at Copenhagen, look at all the three countries, Sweden and all. You'll be amazed the type of life that they live. The prisons are very different. They're not locked inside. They are free. Why? Because the society had made certain changes which has transformed the citizen living in that society to be able to freely express himself. When we cannot freely express ourselves, we sort of let it bury inside our heart. And that's where the problem starts. Our emotional and psychological issues start.
Absolutely. And I would also say, like, in our community, it's like the children, they are raised in the culture of guilt because it's so easy to give them the guilt. And when I talk to my clients, when I have sessions with my clients, you will be amazed. They are like professional women who are doctors, who are engineers, who are lawyers, who are like journalists even, but the guilt they are carrying since their childhood is just still impacting them. And when you look at them in the society, they will have a mask on themselves because it's so easy to hide behind something. But then you're carrying this guilt and the fear of the authorities, and and it impacts all areas of your life. And just to make them realize that, okay, you have to let go of the fear, you have to let go of the guilt. And sometimes I also get amazed that it becomes their comfort zone to be there in that situation with that guilt and with that fear. And to make them realize that you have to let go of this guilt and fear, they become really uncomfortable.
Yeah, true. Guilt is one of the most powerful stress-causing factor. The most powerful is guilt, and it is easy to live in a guilt or give guilt to somebody. If you want to dominate a person, give them a feeling of guilt, and you always dominate the person for life.
Yeah.
And releasing people from guilt means releasing them from the bondage of what they've been holding on to for years, emotionally also. And you find that people tend to improve professionally, personal life, the moment they let go of the guilt.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you, because I know that obviously we're talking about religion, and in religion, I also see a lot of conflict. Because on one side, Allah says that you will find me as you think of me. And the other side, you got maybe a teacher who is telling you that God is very strict. And this concept of that Allah is strict is I would say people have normalized that.
See, there's a difference between a Muslim and Islam. Most Muslims do not understand Islam.
Yeah.
Most Muslims are byproduct of the society they have lived in. And the beliefs and the norms of the society are more powerful than the religion itself. Okay? How many Muslims do really read, understand, reflect, and ponder on the Quran? They don't. One of the, I think, definitions given in the Quran of wali, which is friend of God, is something very strange. Normally, we think of wali as a person with a long beard and a head and a person who performs prayers 5 times and stuff like that. No. The concept of wali is that the person who ponders on the creation of Allah and then tries to take out the power of this creation, the energies, the universal laws, and uses for the benefit of humanity, he is the real friend of God. So again, there's a conflict because what you learn from a clergy is different than what the religion is all about, right? Allah does not dictate our life. It does not make us suffer. He doesn't do that. And what needs to be understood that there are certain principles that He has created. And if you understand the principle, you will not go against it. It's like mother. If you don't obey your mother, she'll be strict with you. You don't obey your father, he'll be strict with you. So he loves you more than your mom. So why would he give misery in your life? Definitely doesn't cause pain. One of the things that have happened is in the Quran, again, keep in mind that most of the instructions in the Quran is for laymen. A person who may not have higher understanding, may not have education, may not even ponder. So the element of fear has been given. Again, if the element of fear is given, it means the person will walk on the right path and he will not commit mistakes or sins. Right? But in reality, if you evolve as an individual, you don't need fear. You need to replace fear with love of God. That is more important. And that's what I follow, Sufi teachings, right? Yeah. It's love, having immense love of God. Fear should be of the punishment coming through your own actions. So if I take poison, then I should be scared. I've taken poison, I will die. But if I have not taken poison, why should I be scared? That's it.
Yeah. So going over to hypnotherapy, I know that this is also a bit contradicts issues sometimes among the Muslim. So people can say that, okay, if you are I'm a master practitioner of hypnotherapy as well. So I remember that when I do that, I get questions, are you going to to make a jinn come into us? And honestly, I had one of my clients, I was doing hypnotherapy. During the session, she woke up and she was like, I think it was jinn on me. I think it was a jinn on me. And I was like, just calm down. It's your unconscious level. So how do you explain the difference between hypnotherapy and not being affected by a jinn? Because most of the people, when they are in touch with their unconscious mind, they can get these ideas,
See, the reality of jinn is undeniable. It's there. Yeah. I don't know how many creation of God there is. We live on a planet, and if we move from Earth into space, millions of miles away, you can hardly see Earth. It's like even smaller than the top of a pin, a needle. So there's an entire universe. So is it all waste? Is there nobody else except humans? Of course not. There must be other creation of God. Then there are dimensions. We live on a different dimension of the world. Then there are alternate and parallel universe that we talk about. So jinns are reality. They could be aliens. Maybe the Americans would call them aliens. The issue here was that from a very beginning, we have been told about jinns. And we somehow have made to believe that anything goes wrong, a jinn has possessed us. An entity has possessed us. So when people go into hypnotherapy and they go into a trance, the conscious mind doesn't work, doesn't function that way. You go into inner conscious or you go into subconscious or the unconscious. So the fears that are already there in the subconscious mind, they begin to come up. And you may actually start feeling it, you may start hallucinating it. Somebody has touched me, I hear voices, like schizophrenia. So you need to first remove the beliefs that, okay, jinn exists, but doesn't mean that every woman is possessed by a jinn. I always tell this in the television shows that in this subcontinent, mostly women are, the heads are covered, they're properly dressed. Going to other countries where they're bathing on the beach, nearly naked. Why doesn't the jinn go there? Why does it come only on the Eastern women? It's so strange, right? Because they don't have a belief. And jinns have their own life, they have their own community, their own existence. In very, very rare cases, do they bother you. Very rare cases, otherwise don't.
Yeah. So how do you explain the difference between conscious mind and unconscious mind to your clients?
You see, basically we have two levels of the mind. One we call the conscious mind, one is when we are unconscious. In between them, there is a level which is called subconscious, which means that I've seen something, but I don't remember it because it is in my subconscious. Subconscious is just a godown. It's a storehouse of all memories that we experience. The So what does hypnosis and NLP does? It connects the conscious with the subconscious mind. And whatever information is in your subconscious mind, it begins to come up to the conscious level, conscious awareness. And that's where you benefit. You suddenly realize, oh my God, this is what I was believing on. This is what happened to me. So somehow when it comes to the surface level, problem gets cured. People come out of guilt, people come out of fear, phobia, etc., etc. So it's just a connection. Normally we cannot, when we are asleep, we basically operate at the subconscious level. But then we are asleep, so we don't have conscious control. We can't change anything, we can't do anything. So hypnosis and NLP and stuff like those, they basically connect the conscious with the subconscious.
Yeah. So how, like, sometimes people, they want to change their habits, and they will say like, oh, my habits, they are so stubborn because I've been like this all my life, I can't change. So how do you help them to change that belief of that?
Well, first of all, you need to find a benefit for change. What benefits will you get if you change? For example, see, one of the things that is important is if somebody doesn't want to change, even Allah doesn't change him. We know that it's in the Holy Quran, right?
Yeah.
So there are adamant people who think that they know everything and what they think is right. Then you don't work with them. I wouldn't even bring them in my class because I know they're useless. They would pay and then later on talk about it to others also. I didn't benefit because they never wanted to benefit. So remember, work on people who are ready to change, who want to change, when they feel that they have an issue that needs to be resolved. When you feel that you don't have an issue, what is there to cure them? So useless, don't work on those people.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So
Should I take your leave now? I've got an interview for the television now in 5 minutes. Okay? So
Okay.
thank you very much. Where are you located?
I'm located in Birmingham.
Oh, Birmingham. I will
Yeah.
be coming to Birmingham most probably in August. We plan a lecture, just a short 1 hour lecture to motivate people to understand how their mind works. So we'll be doing a lecture in Birmingham and Manchester and some trainings in London. I'll let you know.
Okay, let me know. And Jazakallah khair for coming on my show. Is there anything you want to say to my audience? A message, small message you want to give?
Yes, I want to tell your audience, there is always a space for improvement. Whatever you are here right now, you can always be better, a more effective, a more productive human being, a happier human being. And remember, all the resources that you need to change, to become better people, to have more success in life are within you. So go inwards and do NLP or hypnosis and search and bring those resources and bring a change in your life.
Thank you so much for joining me in this episode today. And I really hope that you enjoyed this episode as I enjoyed interviewing Dr. Moiz Hussain. Please do share your takeaways with me under the comment section below. And if you like this video, please share it with those who you think can benefit from this episode. Until then, take care. Ciao. Assalamualaikum.